There is absolutely no way around it. The 2023 draft class was a complete disappointment. You guys know that I'm draft. Let's find a way. These guys were a disappointment. Mozzie Smith, disappointment. Luke Schoonmaker, disappointment. We got to talk about who can possibly be out of that group, whether they were undrafted, whether they were drafted in the third round, whether they were injured. Who out of that group can make that second-year jump? I got 5 guys who I think when it comes to scheme, when it comes to plan, can have a second-year jump. Yo, what's going on, y'all? Foots here. We got a good one for today. Obviously, it's the off season, so I'm trying to make sure that the topics stay fresh. No fluff. You guys know what I'm on over here, man. No fluff. Fresh topics. Really, my thoughts. And one of my thoughts was, who out of that last year's class, whether they were undrafted free agents, whether they were in the first round, and we know who our first round pick was, who can make a second-year jump and why? When I watch the film, when I think about the class, I'll be honest, it wasn't a good class. And it should tell you even more that Luke Schoonmaker didn't even make my list, because you guys remember the reaction with me, Voch, and Sky. I don't think that he should have been drafted, and I still don't. So for everybody who thinks, Foots, you're super optimistic, there are things that the Cowboys do that I don't agree with, and drafting Luke Schoonmaker was one of those things. But I got a bunch of notes. I don't know why I didn't go with my notepad this time. Just trying new things, trying to build new habits. So I took a bunch of notes on a few guys that I just think, under the right circumstances, they can make a jump. And what does a jump look like? A more inept contributor. There's somebody that you go into a game day roster and you say, you know what? This guy helps our team. I'll be honest. We've seen it go the other way. You think about Leighton Vander Esch. When he was drafted, his rookie year was outstanding. He never got back to who he was as a rookie, albeit injuries, albeit other circumstances. So I just want to keep these things in mind as we talk about these players. I want you guys to think about the big three. I'll give you guys the list right away, so I'm going to go ahead and bury the lead. It'll be Mozzie Smith, Wanye Thomas, DeMarvion Overshawn, Hunter Luepke, and Junior Fayoko. But as I talk through the big three, I really want you guys to understand why and how scheme plays a role in who these guys can be. So we're going to start off with Mozzie Smith. I'm going to be honest. I've been going through his film. I've been watching stuff. I'll break it down like this. Mozzie Smith did great when he was singly blocked. His get-off is slow, and he sucks first double teams. It is what it is. I can attribute that to Dan Quinn not coaching that through, and also some of that Mozzie Smith just not having NFL strength. I'll say this. To play D-tackle in the NFL, it is not easy. It is not a position where I want a guy trying to get upfield, trying to be a pass rusher, trying to do all these things. So some of that does fall on Dan Quinn. Some of it also falls on Mozzie Smith. He wasn't strong enough last year. He didn't understand how to anchor properly. When he got reached, when he felt double teams, he didn't anchor. He wouldn't contort his body in a way, and it's almost like some defensive line coaches will call it a ditch technique. It depends on who the coach is. He'll have a certain technique, but when you feel a double team, you have to stop giving up ground. He didn't do that, and some of that could have been the weight loss, but Mozzie Smith just wasn't good enough, i.e. a new defensive line coach, i.e. a new defensive coordinator who I think will slow things down, who will make things more plain for Mozzie Smith. This is what we want you to do. We don't want you flying upfield. We want you two-gapping. You're going to work on taking on double teams. And I think that Mozzie Smith will take to that. I think that his NFL, he had strength. He just didn't know what he was doing, and he just didn't have NFL strength or an NFL body. He lost so much weight. So does the shoulder heal? If the shoulder heals, I think that Mozzie Smith comes back, comes into camp ready to go, and I think that he understands the assignment. Number 2. And this one is very important, Wanye Thomas. When it comes to range, coverability, do-all, and mentality, I think outside of Malik Hooker and Mike Zimmer's scheme, he's a better fit than Donovan Wilson, and he's a better fit than Marquise Bell. I really believe that. Will he get his opportunity? Maybe when it comes to injury, maybe when it comes to just outplaying guys. But the way that Mike Zimmer is going to rock and roll his safeties, because he's playing with 2 safeties and he's playing with 3 linebackers, and these guys got to know fits. They got to know how to come down on certain alignments. They're going to have different responsibilities. The thing is, he's a better cover safety than Donald. I think that Donald is better in the box, but that more or less fit Dan Quinn's scheme with so much cover 1 and cover 3. Mike Zimmer is a multiple schemed defensive coordinator. So he runs a lot of cover 4. He runs a lot of cover 6. He doesn't just align and show you that he's playing man. He likes to bail. He'll ask his corners to do different things, and he's going to ask his safeties to do different things. I believe that this fits what Wanye Thomas does and who Wanye Thomas is. This is what he did at Georgia Tech. Very rangy, came into the league, and he was actually one of the few players that the league just isn't too fast for him. Like, it's not. If you go back and watch that Giants game, he flew around. If you go back and watch the Jacksonville preseason game, albeit preseason, the speed of the game isn't too much for him. So he's a player who I think in this scheme is really going to he's going to thrive. Like, I really believe that there's going to be questions amongst that front office, Will McClay, amongst decision makers. Are we better off with Wanye Thomas being a starter? Number 3, DeMarvion Overshown. With what I saw in the preseason and what I saw in that Jacksonville game, last year he would have been our best linebacker. I'm just you know what you know, you see what you see. He was the only player last year that I saw actually hit somebody, and that only happened in preseason. Love Marquise Bell, was really good scraping over the top, but he's a safety. Love Damone Clark, just was not physical enough. If you're going to put this guy at will, who you need your will linebackers to be your best athletes, you need them to be cleanup players, and you need them to run cleanly to the ball, DeMarvion Overshown can do that at a high clip. He probably should have been number 1 as far as who I thought would make the jump because he's just that athletic. He could have played safety. A lot of people look at him as a J-Ron Curse replacement, but I think he's better than J-Ron Curse in the box because of how physical he is. And then we talk about the muscle that he's put on. He understands the assignment. He let us know that he is going to be playing Will. It's going to be hard to take him off the field, and you're going to have to make a decision between Damone Clark and, to me, Maris Luafau for who's going to be that third linebacker and who's going to get those reps. Because if this guy if he comes back healthy and he moves how we know he can move and how he moved to Texas, you are not taking DeMarvion Overshown off the field. And then number 4 and number 5, Hunter Luepke, he probably played the best out of all of the rookies. Great blocker, very reliable catcher. If it's me, I would probably use him more in certain personnel packages as an H-back, as a fullback, probably more than I'd use Schoonmaker. Because I just think that he had a better feel for the NFL game, and he wasn't even drafted. That's what I meant. Undrafted free agents, he wasn't even drafted. But he came in out of North Dakota State and was fine. Like, he really is Kyle Juszczyk reloaded to me, because he's going to be that type of player who can dig guys out, who's physical. He obviously did have the fumble in the Miami game, but he did a lot of good things this year. I think that he takes another jump. And then Junior Fehoko. To me, he is – so I'll say this. I think that Marshawn Nealon is better just because he just has more tools. But I think that Fehoko is a poor man's Nealon, a physical DN that's going to stop the run, that hustles to the football. That's who Nealon is. I just think that Nealon is better. He has more tools. He's bigger. But we need to figure out, is he Dorrance Armstrong, or was this a wasted pick? And I can't even really speak too much on Fehoko, because all I have to go off of is, well, Wanye Thomas said he is one of those guys that's really good. But he literally didn't play last year. But I think that he could take that second-year jump. So those are my 5 guys: Mazi Smith, Wanye Thomas, DeMarvion Overshown, Hunter Luepke, Junior Fehoko. I'll be honest, you could have put Brooks in there. We'll see. But these are the guys that I really want to focus on. Jalen Brooks, you could put him in there. We'll see about him. And with Luke Schoonmaker, I want to be wrong about Luke Schoonmaker. I do. But that's going to be one that I say I pat myself on the back for the wrong reasons, because I just didn't agree with the pick. All right, Cowboys fans, let me know what you guys think about this list. Who's going to be your second-year player that makes that jump? Because, to be honest with you, with how Mike McCarthy wants this system and wants this program to work, these guys, they got to step up. Peace.